Hello class, today we are going to go over how to write a thesis statement and how to develop your argument in your DBQ, but just how to develop your argument overall in an essay. So when we develop an argument in an essay, we want to think of it as a meat and potato stew. Okay, so AP history essays give you a prompt to respond to, like the one you guys have this week. It is important that your thesis responds to the prompt by making a big, bold, historically sound claim. This is the meat of your thesis. We are going to practice this with a different prompt in this assignment. This is a prompt that I'm going to use, and this is a prompt you're going to use. Go ahead and pause the video and read through this section, and then I'll go over it. My prompt states, to evaluate the extent to which new technologies affected the process of empire building in Western Africa around 1450. The meat of this thesis would be underlined in the example below. New technologies significantly affected the process of empire building in Western Africa around 1450. As you can see, I specifically address the year and the prompt in that meat of my thesis. I have to address the time period specifically in the prompt. That is something that's extremely important. Now, you go ahead and try the same thing for your prompt. All I want you to do is write a meat part. You don't need to write the potatoes part. I'll get to that in a second. Just the underline, just the direct answer to the prompt, along with establishing the time period. Evaluate the extent to which pizza and tacos are similar during the contemporary period. Now, guys, contemporary just is like today. It's modern day today, okay? So you're going to evaluate the extent to which pizza and tacos are similar during the contemporary. Before you guys pause and go over this, go ahead and fill this out on a little piece of paper to help you get ready to write your thesis. What are some similarities, and then what are the differences of pizzas and tacos? So that will help you write your thesis. Go ahead and press pause and complete that now. Now, when you guys write your thesis, you should pay attention that whenever something asks you if something's similar, it also asks you to, it basically asks you if they're different as well. So anytime you see similar or difference, that means to identify both the similarities and the differences. When something asks you to evaluate the extent, it just means how much. So how much to which pizza and tacos are similar? How different are they? How similar are they? And now you could have written your thesis one of three ways. You could have, or the meat of your thesis one of three ways. You could have said that pizza and tacos are more similar than they are different. You could have said pizza and tacos are more different than they are similar. Or you could have said pizza and tacos are both similar and different. Now, you could have put a period after that, and that would have been the meat of your thesis, or you could put a comma like I would have done in my thesis here. Now, let's talk about the potatoes. You've established your main claim. It is a big, meaty argument that is historically sound in response to the prompt. But meat on its own isn't enough. I want you guys to add some potatoes or supporting claims to turn that thesis into a stew. Now, on your DBQ, you will have either 2 to 3 claims. Because this asks you for the similarities and differences, you're going to have one claim for the similarities and one claim for the differences for your pizza argument if you were to continue this. So let me show you mine. So now remember, my prompt is based off something different. Mine is actually based off of the video you guys just watched on Africa, kind of just like your DBQ. But my prompt asked, evaluate the extent to which new technology affected the process of empire building in Western Africa around 1450. So I said new technology significantly affected the process of empire building in Western Africa around 1450. There's my meat. Now here comes my claims, my potatoes. Because the use of camels and new navigational technologies, along with the innovation of the camel saddle, allowed Islamic traders to cross the Saharan desert. Now the potatoes supported my meat. The claim supported the claim supported the meat of my thesis. Okay, the direct answer to my prompt. So the 3 big things that I said when I described it was the use of camels, right? That was one thing that significantly affected empire building in Western Africa. The use of new navigational technologies and the innovation of the camel saddle. So if I was writing my DBQ, each of these different claims would be a body paragraph. So I would have 3 body paragraphs for the DBQ that I'm writing. Now you go ahead and add the potatoes to your prompt. Write your thesis in response to the prompt with both meat and potatoes. Evaluate the extent to which pizza and tacos are similar during the contemporary period. Go ahead and attempt your potatoes now. Now that you guys have written and shared your thesis statements with your meat and potatoes in them on your prompt, let's go ahead and go back to our DBQ and try to pretty much explain how to develop an argument in your essay. Now, when we look at this, we're going to look of it off of your normal DBQ that you're getting for this week. And again, the DBQ you're getting for this week, the big idea that you are questioning, the prompt to the question you're answering is this: evaluate the significant continuities and changes caused by the diffusion of Islam in the sub-Saharan region around 1450. Okay. So remember, when you do your body paragraph, the first thing you need to do is your contextualization. This is also a point in your DBQ. I require at least 3 pieces of background evidence with the time period and the context of the historical situation. So a good way to start off your introduction with context is prior to the diffusion of Islam in the sub-Saharan region, what happened? Talk about the sub-Saharan desert. Talk about what was going on with Islam. Okay, those are all things to be established. Talk about what West Africa was like, or what Africa was like prior to this time. Specifically, it's the sub-Saharan region. Those are all things you're going to talk about in that. Then the meat of your sentence should kind of be the link between your thesis and your historical context. So, for example, again, your prompt is to evaluate the continuities and changes that happened due to the spread of Islam in the sub-Saharan area, or in the sub-Saharan desert or region. So you would just start off your thesis that way. The diffusion of Islam established continuities and changes in the sub-Saharan region. That would be your meat. Now, explain that how. That would be your potatoes. Here comes your potatoes. You're going to have to write your potatoes on your own. And that is where your claims come from. So you're going to have 2 claims. One claims a continuity and one claims a change. And that's going to be based off what you read in your documents. Now, body paragraphs wise, again, if you haven't read how this was, we went over this last week, go ahead and take a minute and read this. And then on this slide, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how it actually looks. So again, when you do your body paragraph, your topic sentence is a restatement of the claim you are going over in that body paragraph. So let's say I was going over, camels, right? I would say something about, I would say that camels led to camels were one of the technologies that affected the process of empire building in Western Africa. That would be my topic sentence. Your topic sentence is going to be, let's say it was your continuity paragraph. You would say blank continued after the diffusion of Islam. Okay, so whatever it is that you stated for your argument, for your claim for continuations or continuities that happen after the diffusion of Islam, you would put that there. You would restate that again. Now, for your evidence, you're going to separate this by multiple documents and outside evidence, whatever you have. And these documents aren't the ones you're using. I don't know if document 1 is a continuity. I don't know if it's a change. I'm just using this as an example. So after your topic sentence, you would then go from each piece of evidence that you have, fat sentence them, explain how they support your claim, and then explain how the HAP within that document, one theme from the HAP in your document, supports your claim. So for example, for my fat sentence, for my DBQ, I would say Doc 2 explains what, and then insert the evidence that supports the claim that I made here. Okay, then I would explain how that supports the claim. This evidence shows continuity through what? Okay, you tell me. Now, the third part is going to identify one HAP thing, just one. So you don't need to do all 4 of these sentences. You just need to pick one. The point of view of this author might suggest that what, and then explain why that point of view supports a continuity. Okay, this isn't just a 1-sentence answer. This is a 2-sentence answer as well, if not a really long 1 sentence. Okay, you can do the same thing with historical context. So insert historical context, explain, expose, brings to light why what continued. The author wrote this because of this. This explains continuities in Islam, or continuities in the sub-Saharan region after the diffusion of Islam by what? The purpose of this document was to what? Which allowed what continuities in the region of the sub-Saharan region. Okay, so that is how you would do your body paragraphs. Now, your closing paragraph is pretty easy. You summarize your contextualization that you did in your opening paragraph, and then you restate your thesis, and then this is where you get your unicorn point. Now, you can get your unicorn point a bunch of different ways, and it's usually pretty biased to the reader, but a lot of them look at it, can you just write like a historian? Do you have proper syntax? Do you have proper grammar? Are your sentence structurally set up appropriate? Are you explaining what's significant, what happens next? To get this point, guys, honestly, the easiest thing for me is just to bring in a counter argument to whatever I said, or to whatever you explain, whatever you claim in your body paragraph. But you could also use different skills. So this prompt was asking you to evaluate continuity and changes, right? So why don't you do a compare and contrast of the continuities and changes, or compare and contrast of one of the things that you might have brought up in your essay. So just this one is a hard one to get. So good luck. We're going to go over this in class. This is just the sample lesson in case you didn't show up to class. This is what we did.